Hello and welcome back. I'm here at the Asia Fruit Congress and I'm with Jose Pablo Rodriguez of Procomer. Jose, thank you very much for joining us. You're involved in developing the reputation of Costa Rica's fresh produce exports to the region here in Asia.
Correct.
What does Costa Rica have to offer when it comes to fruit and vegetables and this market of Asia?
Thank you, Mike, for the opportunity to share the Costa Rica story with the viewers. First of all, thank you and congratulations for the 20th anniversary of the Asia Fruit Congress.
You're very welcome.
Right. Well, Costa Rica is looking into Asia right now. It's the next frontier for our exporters in fresh produce in the agricultural sector. It's very important market, potential market. Let's put it that way, because in fact our main markets have been historically North America and Europe. Costa Rica, as you know, is a small country, but we export a lot to the world, many different products, like 4,600 different products. Wow. And in terms of fruits right now, we're looking mostly into the China market. I've been doing some work with China during the last few years, basically negotiating with the authorities protocols for exportation of products to China, and also doing the same work with Japan and Korea. Our exporters are really excited about what's going on in these markets, and especially because all this race of the middle class in China and in these Asian nations, it's a good opportunity for them for growth, because markets in Europe and North America during the last years, they're pretty mature for them. They're already there. Usually North Americans eat lots of pineapples and bananas from Costa Rica, which are two basically of the largest fruits that we export. Costa Rica exports a year a little less than $1 billion in pineapples to the world. 50% goes to Europe, 50% goes to North America. And the same goes with bananas. We export a little less than $1 billion to the world also, to those same markets. Now what we're trying to do with China, that we're really excited, because as you know, China is also a large producer of bananas. Absolutely, right? It's the second largest producer of bananas worldwide after India. What we're trying to do is to tap into those high-end supermarkets in cities, in first-tier cities like Shanghai, and bring premium product, premium bananas from Costa Rica to the very sophisticated new consumer that you'll find in that kind of city. We're doing that already for a year, very successfully. This year we've seen a good increase in the exports of bananas to China. And with pineapple, we're also working really hard to bring more and more pineapples. Pineapples are growing at a rate of 40 to 50% year on year in imports into China. So we see a tremendous opportunity, because although you have local producers in the region and there's a lot of intra-regional trade, as we saw earlier today during the show, during the Congress, there's still room to grow, because there's a lot of demand, seriously a lot of demand for good quality fruit from MD2. We export MD2 pineapple. And we see tremendous opportunity, yes.
Why do you need to explore this Asian market? If you've got your North American market there and you've got Europe as well, you've got two markets that you can work with. What's the need? Why is there a desire in Costa Rica to keep going and develop something else on top of that?
Well, I think there are several reasons for that, Mike. One of them is it diversifies. In any business that you have, you always want more markets, because then you diversify your risk. If something happens, well, the world is really connected right now, so the world economy is affected by what happens in everywhere, in Europe or in Asia or in North America. But it's also good to have another door, another window another market that can provide you with a solution if things are slowing down in another of your two major markets. I think that's one of the reasons that our exporters are so keen and see China and Asia as the new frontier. And also, I think it's because they want to grow, and they see all this growth that it's happening in the region right now, and they don't want to lose the opportunity to grow their businesses. Costa Rica is still a country that's got land and that they can develop more plantations, and they can export more.
So you could see, for example, you could see Asia becoming as important as Europe, for example, in terms of the volume and the value of pineapples and bananas that you're selling there?
I think so, yes. Probably it's not a thing that it's going to happen in the short term. It'll take a few years, but definitely we'll see Asia in the next few years being at the same level.
So this is the start. This is the start of something growing.
Yeah.
If I try and think of difficult jobs around the world, I would certainly put your job in that bracket of having to negotiate and try and open the Chinese market. How difficult has that been? Has that required a lot of meetings, a lot of contact with the authorities?
It has indeed. It has indeed, Mike.
And what progress have you made? Where are you at in terms of that journey?
Well, first you got to remember that Costa Rica established ties with China not long ago. We're a new partner of China in terms of diplomatic relations. We established ties with them in 2007. So it's been almost 11 years of diplomatic relations. Yeah. But we have, I would say that it's kind of like a small advantage, because we're one of these few countries in the world who has a free trade agreement, at least in the Western Hemisphere, a free trade agreement with China. Okay. In the Americas, only Peru, Chile, and Costa Rica have free trade agreements. Yeah. So that gave us some sort of opportunity. Yeah. And during the last 10 years, we've worked on protocols for pineapple, for bananas. Well, for other fruit, we're working right now on melon, which is we hopefully will have it soon approved. Okay, that's good. And other products, like agricultural products like beef and pork and dairy and seafood, which have been approved. All in all, I will say that we've received a lot of support from the Chinese authorities. Some of my colleagues actually envy me and ask me, what am I doing? Because I'm getting more protocols approved really fast. Yeah. Sometimes it takes, as you know, 10 years, 15 years for some countries to open up a product.
It can be a lot slower. But that suggests to me that actually, well, in very simple terms, China needs more pineapples, China needs more bananas. And if your exporters are supplying that premium product, and they're finding success in China, then that's a very encouraging thing. What about those other markets you mentioned? You mentioned Korea, was it? And Japan?
Correct. Well, Korea and Japan are two very interesting markets for Costa Rica also. With Korea right now, we're really putting focus on Korea too, because we just signed this year our free trade agreement between Central America and Korea. So we see also a window of opportunity there. So we're working really hard on Korea right now. And with Japan, we're also working on developing more products. We already have our bananas and pineapples. Last year we did the first trials of melons to Japan. Oh, okay. And they're working really well. The growing seasons for melons in Japan and Costa Rica are complementary. Yeah. And that gives us also a very good opportunity with the Japanese market, that it's, as you know, a value market.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we're really happy with Japan too. Yes.
Okay. And just finally, in general, what does the future hold for Costa Rica in Asia in terms of other markets, for example? Are there other markets you see that could be developed in future?
Well, I think it's a bit hard to foresee what's going on in the future, right? Most of the times when we say something and we see it 10, 20 years later,
it's very different.
It's very different, right? So I don't know really where this is going, but I know for sure that at least for China, Japan, that's kind of our trilogy, you know.
Yeah,
China,
and
Japan,
Korea,
and Korea, for sure. In Asian countries in Southeast Asia, maybe it would be a bit more difficult for Costa Rica because you have over there countries producing basically the same kind of products that we have.
The Philippines, for
the
example.
Philippines,
Yeah.
Thailand. So our effort, probably there are more competitors to us.
Okay.
Then there will be less. I would say that there will be less opportunities, at least for fresh fruit in those markets for Costa Rica. But in all honesty, with all the demand that we're getting from China and other places, I don't think we'll have enough.
That's enough to be
it's
dealing
enough
with.
To be very, very, very busy.
In the meantime, exactly.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
Well, I wish you all the best. I wish you mucha suerte.
Gracias.
And we'll look forward to hearing about your success in future.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jose.
you.
Thank you.